Welcome to the channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon to stay updated with every new story. The grand chandelier shimmered like captured sunlight in the mansion's ballroom, its golden light spilling across polished marble floors. The air was thick with the scent of Parisian roses, and every guest was dressed in elegant privilege. At the center stood Marcus Blackwood, a millionaire known for his fortune and theatrical flair. On that crisp afternoon, before a small high-society audience, he made a spectacle that silenced the room. With a faint smile, he held up 4 gleaming black unlimited credit cards and handed them to 4 women in glamorous gowns. Gasps echoed at the display of power and excess. But no one could predict what happened next would come not from the millionaire or the 4 women, but from the quiet maid in the corner with yellow cleaning gloves still on her hands. Marcus had lived believing everything had a price. Born into wealth, his days were filled with board meetings and extravagant dinners where the rich competed in silence. Beneath his confident smile lay a loneliness he never admitted. The 4 women, Victoria in scarlet, Helena in black, Francine in gold, and Diana in deep navy, were all accustomed to luxury, each vying for his attention, believing charm and beauty would win his heart. For Marcus, giving them unlimited cards wasn't about love. It was about control, about seeing who would shine brightest under endless wealth. But among the marble, silk gowns, and glittering chandeliers, one figure didn't belong. Her name was Emma Rivera, the maid who had worked quietly in Marcus's mansion for nearly 2 years. She wore a simple uniform, brown hair tied back neatly, eyes downcast when guests were present. To most, she was invisible. Yet Emma carried a heaviness wealth could never measure. She was a single mother, raising her 8-year-old son, Noah, after losing her husband in a factory accident where safety was overlooked for profit. He worked long hours, often skipping meals so her boy could eat, saving every coin, hoping to give him a better life. When Marcus's hand swept theatrically and the women gasped at their cards, Emma was quietly collecting glasses. Her heart tightened as she watched, not from envy, but thinking of how many children went hungry that night while such wealth was tossed around as a game. Marcus's eyes caught hers for a fleeting second and something shifted. The 4 women clutched their cards with gleaming eyes, whispering excitedly about what they would buy. One dreamed aloud of a French villa, another of jewels rivaling queens, another of endless couture. The room buzzed with superficial delight. But then Marcus, curious and mischievous, turned to Emma. He smirked and asked, "And you, maid, what would you do if I gave you one of these?" The room fell silent. The women stared, their expressions mixing amusement and disdain, as though the idea was absurd. Emma froze, hands trembling as she set glasses on the tray. She could feel every eye piercing through her. Her instinct was to bow her head and fade into the background as always. But then she thought of Noah, his thin frame, hopeful eyes, the way he asked why other children had so much while he had so little. With a deep breath, Emma raised her eyes, and for the first time, her voice carried not servitude, but truth. She said she would not take the card for herself. Instead, she would use it to open a shelter for homeless children, for abandoned mothers, for the hungry and lost who wandered streets with nothing but despair. She spoke of creating a place where laughter could return to those who had forgotten its sound. Her words were not rehearsed or polished like wealthy speeches, but raw, trembling, and real. The silence that followed was heavier than gold. The 4 women shifted uncomfortably, cards clutched to their chests. Marcus's smirk slowly faded, replaced by something unfamiliar. He had expected greed, perhaps desperate pleas for escape, but instead found sincerity that cut deeper than any jewel. The chandelier above seemed to shine brighter, as though light itself was listening. Days passed, but Marcus could not shake Emma's words. The women flaunted their cards, boasting of trips and luxuries, but their laughter sounded hollow. Marcus found himself visiting Emma's quarters, asking about her ideas. She hesitated, thinking it mockery, but slowly shared her vision. An abandoned warehouse she passed daily, dreaming it could become a haven. She described small beds, warm meals, a playground for children, and shelves of books teaching stories of hope. Then one morning, something remarkable happened. Marcus called a press conference, but instead of announcing a business venture, he announced funding for a new community shelter. He revealed the idea came not from consultants, but from a maid who dared to dream. Cameras flashed, reporters leaned forward, and for the first time in years, Marcus spoke not as a millionaire flaunting wealth, but as a man inspired by kindness. The shelter opened months later, its walls painted with colors chosen by the children themselves. Emma stood at the entrance on opening day, tears glistening as she watched Noah laugh with other children on the new playground. Mothers wept receiving warm meals, and the air filled with the sound of joy reborn. Marcus was there too, not as the untouchable millionaire, but as a man who had discovered that true wealth was measured not in cards or jewels, but in the lives one touched.